and maybe let's start, I mean, just to set the stage, our health journey began when we decided to remove processed sugars. When you were diagnosed with pre-diabetes, that was back in the days when we were still boyfriend and girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And we both embraced the change. You know, we removed added sugars, products with added sugars and stuff. And everything was good. But then one day, I remember, and I'm sure you do, I woke up and I decided we got to do paleo. Well, I got to do paleo. Paleo is the holy grail of nutrition. And starting today, I'm going to do paleo. And of course, I was not the one preparing food. Usually, there was you.
Yeah, of course, so, like a good Latina, you know. I like to feed my people.
Uh-huh. And so how did you respond to your husband saying, we're going to change from a, I guess, standard American diet? It wasn't a terrible, terrible diet, but it was very close to it back in the days. Yeah. To doing something entirely different, cutting out entire food groups. How did that make you feel?
Oh, gosh. I remember, guys, we got into a fight. Okay. We have to be honest here. We got into a fight because for me, it was removing my Latina, you know, love of cooking and feeding my family. So I remember we were traveling with your mom. Mm-hmm. And we got into this huge fight about that because I'm like, well, what does paleo mean? Like, what are we doing? And he said, removing beans, rice. So basically, a gallo pinto, you know, a traditional dish from Costa Rica. Removing, what else? Lentils I used to cook a lot. No more burgers, you know.
All grains.
Dairy. I mean, I never consume a lot of dairy, but you
the
know,
grains part, grains and legumes was tough for you.
Yes. So, you know, in my culture, that's something that we eat often, you know. And for me, like a lentil soup on a rainy day, removing that was it didn't sound right to me. And I was more like a cultural thing. And not really understanding, you know, the nutrition part.
And it was also at the same time because, you know, both of us really had very little understanding of human metabolism and all. And so you also raised the concern, but what if, you know, just because someone's saying that paleo is how you should be eating, what if you're wrong? Or what if that person is wrong? What if we are wrong? What if we are, you know, feeding our kids paleo and then it turns out to be terrible for their health?
Yes.
Right, that was also
just like your mom, when she heard our conversation, she was like, what is going to happen? What about if you're wrong? And so it was hard. It was hard to make the change. And also I have to admit that my personality doesn't allow, or I just don't do very well with changes. And mostly you're very good at it. You decide to do something and you just go tomorrow or in the next 5 minutes and you will do it. For me, I'm like very slow learner and I like to take my time. Mm-hmm. So that was like, no, we're not doing this. Mm-hmm. And it took me a few months, you know, we went through our pantry, you know, processed food was out of, you know, our pantry. Mm-hmm. We were eating for the first few months, we were eating just a piece of steak with vegetables or a salad.
And funny enough, it was, now thinking back, it was a lot of the, I guess, veggies that are some of the least toxic ones, I guess, like zucchini. We did a lot.
We did a lot of zucchini. Cucumbers. We were grilling a lot.
Yeah, it was grilled zucchini and steak.
Yes.
That was for us paleo.
Yes.
Right? And the one change that I noticed almost immediately was my IBS, my irritable bowel syndrome, which I had for decades, was gone like this. And it was gone because of, you know, we removed all the trigger foods, basically, that we were not supposed to be eating anyway. But then along the lines, you know, you learned more about, paleo, you know, you can actually make traditional dishes paleo friendly. And we got cookbooks and...
Yeah, I went through all the paleo books and, you know, I purchased books from Daniel Walker and those were my holy grail. You know, I went through 4 books of her, you know, did all the recipes pretty much. Even for the kids, you know, for Halloween, we were making chocolate chip cookie, but with a spider. You know, I would make it with melted chocolate, like a spider. And so I needed to still feel connected with food, like in a way that to keep traditions, in our family. And it was hard in the beginning, but then, I slowly learned and preparing food differently.